Kia ora everybody, welcome back to another Moko walkthrough. This is episode number 4. My name is Te Haunui Tuna. This is a piece that I did for the bro Fraser a few months ago. Lower leg wrap, as you can see. I'll just go through all the photos just to show you what it looks like right around the whole leg, and then I'll just go through and talk about certain parts and my thinking and my thoughts behind them. So I'll just shift it that way. So it's front, an eighth of a turn, side, another eighth. This is probably my favourite part, just simple and clean. The inside of the leg, moving towards the front, and then here's some detail shots. And that. Alright, let's go back to the start, do some talking. So with this one, again, big focus is symmetry. So usually when I do symmetry on the leg, or anywhere in general, but on the leg, I usually do a point down below where I'm going to end, and then I go usually about the knee, and then I just roughly sketch a line. And although it may not be the exact middle of the leg, of the shin, I'm looking for a center line so that whenever I draw on the left, there's enough space there and it's similar in size to the right side. So it can look kind of balanced when you're looking at it from the front. So that's the thinking behind that. I remember around this time too, I was playing around with the idea of having a lot of contrasting movement. So usually when I would do shin pieces, I would always have like sort of vertical flow going through it, just to accentuate the natural flow of the leg. But in this one, come on man, in this one I wanted to have, so you've got curved spirally movement coming in here, and then you've got these pretty much horizontal flows coming through, and then you've got these sort of vertical movements through, and then you've got a combination. So you've got the vertical movement, the curved organic movement, similar to the last video. If you haven't seen it, check it out here. And then kind of got this vertical movement going through as well. So that's the thinking behind this part here. And when you think about a leg, especially a lower leg, because it's a bit thinner than the thigh, you pretty much picture it in if it had faces, so or panels, so you can only see this part at one time, and then you can't see the whole thing. So when I break that down, I try to make each of these panels, or each of these panels of the leg that are viewable at one time, I try and make the design work that's in those sort of cohesive with each other. Next part, I'll go around a bit more. So here, and because that front was so complex, you had a lot going on, that was the reason that I wanted to do the whole rest of this moko super simple, super clean, with that vertical flow accentuating the leg coming through, so that when you are viewing it and you're going right around the whole leg piece, it's like a journey from complexity to simplicity back to complexity again. And then I purposefully had the flow from these koru and I wanted to have those flow straight in to these breaks here, so that flows, that horizontal flow that I was talking about a little earlier, flows it right through the whole piece. See, it keeps going around. See, right around to the back. There. There. See, it keeps going right around. And yeah, this was probably one of the most challenging parts, was doing these lines right through to the bottom, because that's practically the length of his whole lower leg. And when you do work that's pretty simple and clean, you don't leave much margin for error. So like these lines here, even if there was just a little bit of a bump, it becomes very obvious when that's all there is there. Just a little there's a sort of like little challenges that I lay down for myself, and they also keep the piece interesting as well. So yeah, we've got this flow coming right through from those koru, right around, back around, all the way through, and then back in. So it creates like a continuous sort of loop right around the whole lower leg like that. Now, let's go through and talk about some of the smaller details. Like here. So looking through the whole piece, it's pretty much got the same fill-ins. You've got high, got pakatsi, but in these manaya, and they're like super stylized manaya, they don't even have where's a better view of them? Probably this one here. It's super stylized, it doesn't even have a face really. So I made a mouth, and it's kind of like a shared mouth. So if it's kind of like two manaya heads that share the same mouth, and then this is part of his head, and then it comes into this other one over here. And I usually I love the idea of duality. Duality is big in Māoridom, and I love incorporating ira wahine and ira tāne. And to talk about the things that you take on from both your parents, and then also playing around with little things like that. These are really just design elements, and just trying to make a stylized manaya, one that I was seeing how simplified and abstract I could make it, whilst still having those forms that we're used to, like a head and a mouth, an eye. And then the next part too, these high that come in from these koru, having them flick up at the ends, just to create these little areas of skin. And when you break it down, it's a bit of a visual element that stands out, just because there's a little bit more skin than there otherwise would be. And same as here too, having these flick off in opposite directions, Same as up here, down here. Really just keeping that idea of symmetry going. And those also play into the vertical flow that I was talking about earlier. Now, where am I? Let's go back to the side. And then also here too, having these little points of difference, breaking certain areas up. You know, I was thinking of balancing that up and balancing it over here, doing the same thing, but because we've already got this flow going through, there would have been a couple of things vying for your attention, so I decided to leave that one out. And I think that is about it. Oh, here's another one here. Breaking it up. But that's pretty much it. Hope you fellas enjoyed this video. Got some value from it. If you fellas like this and there's somebody that you think should watch it, let them know. I'll see you fellas in the next one. My name is Te Tuna. Mauri ora.